Okay, so I know what you're thinking. And yes, I'm aware it is November. And I'm aware how strange it is that this is the October prediction video. The reason why, obviously, is because of September, the trips and everything, you have to do that. So, there will be one more prediction video at the end of this month, and that will be your November video, and then we're all caught up, and then we actually are going to get normalcy about this, so that's a good thing to look at. Number 2, Ashley's not able to join us tonight. There were some complications with some things, and he's not able to be here. So, I'm hoping that we can work out something where it can be an addendum at the end of this video. Ashley's predictions, we can put those on there. Or I can put them in the description bar. One of the two. We'll figure it out. And either way, he's going to have his predictions be known. So, if you are new to this, hi, welcome. I'm Sir Owen Disney. This is AJ. And we're going to be doing our Academy Awards predictions for the Big 8 categories. And we've been doing this since August. We are one of the only people that start this early. I know there's people out there that do this, but there's not that many.
There's some people that start like the day after the Oscars.
Yeah, and then there's people that are speculating the day after, and then, I mean, we're not that fanatical, but still, this is pretty major, starting August, of a ceremony that's going to be in the beginning of next year. So that being said, we're going to go through the Big 8 categories, and Ashley will hopefully either join us at the end of this video, or I'll make sure you guys know his predictions if they changed or not. So that being said, we're going to start off with Best Adapted Screenplay. AJ, what are your 5?
I have The Big Short, Brooklyn, Carol, The Revenant, and Steve Jobs.
Okay.
Obviously, I finally took out Base of No Nation for Brooklyn, because now, this is the first video we've done since I've seen Base of No Nation.
Right.
And decisions were made, but I'll elaborate on that as it goes further. Brooklyn is starting to get a lot of attention lately.
Correct.
More so than I was actually anticipating, despite the fact that I've always had a couple of other things here.
Makes me nervous for a couple things.
I'm still feeling like The Big Short's going to be the one. At the time, it's going to feel kind of random, but there's also some people who think The Big Short could totally break out. I don't know that it's going to be that type of movie.
Trailer looks cool. I'll say that much.
And it's a really late release, so it's kind of hard to say. But I think Carol, The Revenant, and Jobs are kind of like good to go. So. Yeah.
I had Carol in here for a while, and I finally took it out. I don't know if it's going to be a good idea or not to do this, but I did. As a matter of fact, I really don't have Carol running for much of anything at this point. That also may kick me in the behind later on, but as of right now, my adapted screenplay lineup is The Revenant, Steve Jobs, Room, Brooklyn, and The Martian. I really think right now that The Martian is going to be that movie this year that everybody loves, and it's still doing great business in box office today. I mean, it really is. I mean, with all the subpar movies that have been coming out the last couple of weeks, it's been staying consistently toward the top in the last couple of weeks, and it's going to remain there for a little bit, at least until, obviously the next couple of weeks when, Mockingjay comes out, and then it's going to be shoot down, but still, it's doing quite well for itself. And the movie is phenomenal, and the performances are incredible, and I'm really thinking that The Martian actually might do something. And this is where it starts for me. It's, spoiler alert, not the only time you're going to see The Martian in this video on my predictions. And I think that it actually is something that does belong there, and I think that it will end up there. Now, on the token of Room, that's the problem I'm having right now. Is this movie going to be the end-all, be-all that everyone thinks it is, or is it going to be the movie that just kind of pitter-patters away? I mean, it could go either way.
There is a middle ground there, too.
But there's the middle ground that's saying that Brie Larson gets in and everything else gets, nothing else. Which is a possibility, too.
There's a lot of people trying to talk about the kid.
Yeah, I saw that, too.
I don't know that I buy that, but a lot of people are saying it, but I guess I'll just look dumb if it does happen.
Yeah, I mean, we will finally get to see that movie in pretty much about a month from today, so that's one thing we have to look forward to, and we don't know much about it. The Revenant, Steve Jobs, obviously I'm not taking those out for any reason, and yeah, I'm not on the Brooklyn train, but I've grabbed on, and I'm about ready to jump on, but I'm kind of hesitant, because The one thing that I'm hearing about it right now, obviously, is Ronan, and I'm still not running her. Spoiler alert as well, which I know is going to kick me in the behind in the end. But still, it's just something about that movie that it's either going to sink or swim. And I think right now, I'm comfortable with it in screenplay. If this ends up being the 5 for adapted, I wouldn't have an issue with this at all. It's a very solid lineup so far. So, we'll see what happens.
3 of those are to be determined.
Yeah, but I mean, the stuff that we have seen, I mean, there's only 2 of the 5. But still, like, all the great things we're hearing about The Revenant, and it's Brooklyn and Room could go either way, but yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting lineup for sure. Best Original Screenplay.
I have Bridge of Spies, The Hateful Eight, Inside Out, Joy, and Spotlight. I had Youth in here for a long time, because I kind of felt like Youth was going to kind of be that movie. And once again, much like Beast of No Nation, after seeing it, I don't know, because it kind of felt like it could either be that movie that seems like kind of an out of their way for them, because when you look at like when they went for Amour, or when they went for Bennett Miller last year,
right?
They don't get enough credit for kind of going out to movies like that.
True.
And I was thinking maybe that could have been the case, but after watching it, I really just wasn't. I couldn't tell, because watching it, I kind of see it going either way. Where it's either going to be a movie that does as good as, say, like Amour does, or Foxcatcher for that matter, or just be like, no, why would you even think the Academy would go for that? I don't know. It really seems like it could be either one, but to feel safe, I kind of gone a little bit away from it. I'm going to be so pissed off if they go for it.
I understand your feelings.
And I went ahead and threw Joy in there because I really haven't been throwing Joy much of anything, which a lot of people are saying it's like one of the main picture contenders.
Right.
I don't know just how much more Russell has in regards to Academy love, and if they're just gonna, because it's easy to say that with Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle and all that, to just kind of say, well, this will do that too. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling it with Joy at the moment, but I figure throwing it in here is safe enough. So
it's really simple to say my lineup because I have the exact same thing AJ does, and we don't look at each other's predictions. Like, you may have glanced over at mine since it's right literally above you on my ginormous television right now, but still, we completely are in agreement on this. Now, the only thing I had in this lineup was Sicario. And I took Sicario out and I put Joy in, and like AJ said, we're starting to hear a lot more about it. And the trailer is now on mostly everything at this point, so starting to see a lot more of the movie. And if Russell fails this time, I have a feeling he's not getting nominated for quite a while. It's anyone's guess at this point. A lot of people have a problem with him personally.
I don't think it's gonna fail. I still think it's gonna get a few nominations.
Yeah, I can see it getting nominations,
but I'm not sure.
One major one.
I'm not sure about it being a huge thing.
I don't necessarily see the director nomination.
I know because of what Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle did, that if Joy does do well, I'll just look stupid. Like, of course, why didn't I think it?
Right.
But I'm prepared to just go with that. So
smart move here. Whew. So, best supporting actress time.
I don't believe mine changed from last time. I have Joan Allen for Room, Jennifer Jason Leigh for The Hateful Eight, Rooney Mara for Carol, Julie Walters for Brooklyn, and Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs. It takes me a second to remember them because I only wrote last names without movies, so I have to kind of remind myself what they are.
But it's you. It's easy to remember.
The only person I was thinking about taking out was Julie Walters.
Mm-hmm.
But then Brooklyn started to get a lot of attention, so I was like, okay, we'll just see how it goes. I'll just keep her in there, sure. She kind of seems like I seriously considered Jane Fonda with Youth. Because it would have been weird if I took out all my other stuff I had Youth in for and put Jane Fonda in.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because even though she does have a small part, she's like, beloved Hollywood royalty, and it's only a 5-minute scene, but she basically has the same amount of screen time that Laura Dern had on Wild. It's just all in one place instead of sprinkled around the movie. So, and it's just kind of a part, like I said in the review, where she just shows so many different sides of one character in 5 minutes. It's totally something I could see them going for, but in the meantime, I'm going to stick with this. Because I think they'd have to... I'd almost think they don't have to, like, really go for youth if they were gonna...
Oh, I'd say so.
But I don't know for sure. So they didn't really go for Wild that much. So
no, not as much as they should have.
As far as the parts are concerned, Laura Dern is a weird comparison. I know I keep jumping to it, but just as far as a recent example of a really small part getting in this category.
Right.
So, and who is a beloved Hollywood royalty as well, so...
Now, it's funny on mine because I took the Danish Girl out of Adapted Screenplay, and I moved Alicia Vikander into supporting actress. The more I'm hearing, the more I'm thinking that it's probably going to happen. I'm sticking with my other 4, as always. Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs, Rachel McAdams for Spotlight, Jennifer Jason Leigh for The Hateful Eight, and Rudy Mara for Carol. There's a lot of really compelling arguments you have. There really are. And I know that I'm probably look like a fool when it comes to some of these predictions, but I think that we're early enough now that nothing is completely outlandish unless you want to go really outside the box. And I've done that before. Don't forget I was running Cronenberg for director last year at this time. So anything's possible. But I think it's a solid lineup. There's a lot of people that possibly could get in. A lot of people AJ was alluding to as well. And I think right now it's a big deal to get in this lineup because there's a lot of people vying for it. Just like with everything this year. But I think this category, for some reason, jumps out at me as there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be left broken after the nominations are over.
No, I just don't... I'm still just have not heard any reliable source officially say Vikander's supporting. So I'm just kind of... I'm almost, like, intentionally defiant towards the idea that she would go supporting just because so many people that have no idea are saying supporting and everybody's just jumping on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll regret it, but...
And in a perfect world, I'd run Elizabeth Banks for Love and Mercy, but I can't really do that because she's completely out of the running now, so... Which is a shame. Ooh, your favorite category and why a race we've got this year. Best Supporting Actor.
I have Robert De Niro for Joy, Idris Elba for Beasts of No Nation, Tom Hardy for The Revenant, Mark Ruffalo for Spotlight, and Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. Who did I take out? I took Harvey Keitel out because I just was unsure about... I'm just unsure about youth now as far as how much they'll take to it. And he's not really got a showy part at all. He's there a lot, but he doesn't really have... I mean, I guess he's kind of got like a... It is a real supporting role where he's there, and it's just kind of... He does make his presence known, but there's not... There's maybe one scene that I could see as like a standout scene, but I don't know if it's necessarily something that they would go towards. Because they've only nominated him once in his really long-ass career. So it makes you kind of wonder... And that was back in 1991, so I'm not sure how they feel about him. And I can't remember who else I had in here last time. Because Rylance is new, too. That was... Unlike Beast of No Nation and Youth, when I saw Bridge of Spies, watching Rylance's performance, it just kind of... Number one, it just kind of seems like...
Something they go for.
An Oscar performance. And secondly, he's got a lot of respect in the industry. I saw there was a really great... There was a Q&A that Paul Thomas Anderson was doing with Spielberg about the movie. And Spielberg was telling this story about how you have this titan, Tom Hanks, doing this scene, and he's in character, and he does a scene, and then after he said cut, he kind of took Spielberg into the corner, and Hanks said, "Oh my God, I'm working with Mark Rylance."
That's awesome.
So, I think he's got a lot backing him, and the performance definitely would hold up to that. So,
I agree.
That's what I'm going to say. I did have, I had actually written down Keaton, and then at the last, like, as soon as I read that, I was like, maybe we'll go with Ruffalo, because I feel like I was always unsure about putting Keaton in, because I wasn't sure how the industry took to him last year, because there was a lot of love for him, but there was also a lot of controversy with him. And then there's the fact that Ruffalo right now is probably one of the most well-liked actors.
Right.
By audiences and by the industry. There was the whole Julia Roberts trying to start a circle jerk at the SAGs over him. So I think, and the fact that he was pushed there, and the fact that he apparently has a borderline leading role, and it sounds like he's got the really showy part, I decided to go for him instead of Keaton. So,
well, I'm not saying my love for Steve Jobs is waning, because it's not, but I had to bump out Jeff Daniels here. I mean, like you said, like Rogen's performance as Woz is a lot more convincing than Daniels' performance in Steve Jobs. I agree.
Not that the Academy would think that.
No, but I can see that. And I think Jeff Daniels could still potentially get in. Like, the love for the newsroom and the fact that he's very well respected. And
he's also in The Martian.
Exactly. It's a nice little double that's going to be able to get him some more recognition. But it seems like right now the word is Spotlight. And I was going to do this with The Hateful Eight, and I ended up talking myself out of it. Now I'm going to do it with Spotlight. I'm running both Michael Keaton and Mark Ruffalo. I mean, it could be a sucker's bet. It's anyone's guess. And yes, I am now a card-carrying member of the Mark Rylance Getting Into Supporting Actor Club. Because that performance is awesome, and I'm glad that I finally get to put it in my lineup. And Tom Hardy for The Revenant and Samuel L. Jackson, a much-deserved nomination for The Hateful Eight.
It's really funny. I just talked about Harvey Keitel's last nomination was in 1991.
Right.
Because when he and Ben Kingsley were nominated for Bugsy, I believe was the last time two supporting actors from the same movie got in. So that's
precedent set every year.
That's an interesting...
We'll see what happens. Spotlight seems like it's going to be a big deal right now.
Back in the day, it happened a lot.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't believe it's happened since Bugsy. So
we'll see what happens.
Not that necessarily means anything. I'm just saying it's been a while. And there have been plenty of opportunities where it could have happened, like a Django, for instance.
Yeah, no lie.
But, oh well.
And it could happen for The Hateful Eight as well. You never know. Tim Roth, I'm looking at you. You're playing Kristoff's role. You might as well get Kristoff's spot. Best Actress.
Mine hasn't changed from last time, and I'm really not sure it's really going to for the rest of the year, unless something really drastic happens. I'm feeling really comfortable right now about Cate Blanchett for Carol, Brie Larson for Room, Jennifer Lawrence for Joy, Saoirse Ronan for Brooklyn, and Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl. There's really nothing to even elaborate on there. It's...
I'm not letting go of Carrie, obviously. I was happy with her performance in An Education. I'm glad I got nominated. Deserved to get nominated. Why are you leaning forward?
I'm trying to read the title at the bottom on the bottom of this video. I think it says Academy Award predictions. I thought what you were saying. I thought it said biases, but I think it says predictions. I can't tell.
Really?
I can't tell.
But seriously though, it's a name that I know I actually do have a bias towards it, obviously, but I can't say that I haven't seen it pop up in most of the predictions I've seen, which is good, because these aren't experts. Nobody's an expert at this point. So we're all on a level playing field, regardless how people think that they are higher than they are. But that's another story for another time. Ronan is the person I want to put in here, but I'm doing the AJ thing with my pride, and I'm running Lily Tomlin still. Trying to make her, I guess, my Sally Hawkins this year. It still could happen. But I will say at this moment, if anybody gets bumped out, she's probably the first to fall. And Ronan, me not running her is probably a huge mistake. Especially the more reviews that are coming out for Brooklyn. But I'm sticking with my guns right now. And obviously, running Brie Larson and Jennifer Lawrence and Cate Blanchett it's a no-brainer at this point for me. I guarantee those three are getting in. Everybody else, to me personally, is up in the air. But we'll see.
Sally Hawkins got nominated for Blue Jasmine in 2013.
Right.
Before 2013.
Right.
30 years from now, you're going to be sitting in front of this camera doing predictions, and you're going to say an actress's name and then say, I think that's my Sally Hawkins. 30 years later.
I'm still doing this when I'm 60 years old. It's going to be like, hey. I'm not going to have any teeth.
It's just like however...
bald.
That's just like when you go...
Still wearing the Horror Night shirts.
You go for an outlandish prediction of who's going to win picture, you bring Crash back into it.
That's the go-to, though. But it's justified. And it always will be.
Crash was 10 years ago. And since then you were like, The Fighter's gonna win Best Picture, American Hustle's gonna win Best Picture, Grand Budapest Hotel.
A lot of those got close, though. You can't deny that some of those actually had
American
a chance.
Hustle.
We don't want to talk
went
about
0 for 10, and you just said close.
Grand Budapest Hotel got close.
Well,
Then it got screwed out of screenplay, and then it was ruined. It was over after the screenplay loss.
alright, I guess we should do actor now. I'm done criticizing you.
This is what I have to deal with. Best actor. And this lineup is huge, too.
Yeah.
A lot of titans in this lineup, really. Who's going to get left out?
I have Michael Caine for Youth, Leo DiCaprio for The Revenant, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl, and Will Smith for Concussion.
I almost did.
I had Depp, but it's just that, as great as the movie is, believe me, if I could do it, I'd have Depp winning the thing. Yeah, despite the fact that I haven't seen still 3 of these performances. But I just think everybody else has kind of forgotten the movie, because you don't really. It was a thing, because and it's the type where he's not gonna like do the campaigning stuff. So.
No, definitely not.
So I think we're just Edgerton was the other person I had in support actor last time.
Oh, of course.
So you could pull this reasoning out for him as well. And as far as Will Smith, it just seems like, I don't know, it's just kind of a feeling thing. Some people are starting to talk him up, and that movie's starting to kind of get a little notice, because it's so late in the year and nobody's really looking at it.
Right.
But when you look at like Will Smith's nomination for The Pursuit of Happiness, that doesn't really. It kind of seems like that seemed like kind of a movie that was just going to come and go.
Right.
And then, it's not like, a big biopic role like Ali was, but it just seems like, even though this is like a real story, they're all real stories actually, but but regardless, this is just kind of based on a feeling, and he's kind of getting a little bit of a push, and I'm sure he'll be out there like charming the fuck out of everybody
of course.
During his run. So I think it's and he's just kind of, he's one of those actors that is such a big. I mean, I know he's kind of, there was like After Earth and stuff like that, and his cameo in Winter's Tale, people still remember.
Of course.
But he's still like one of the biggest names ever.
Yeah, completely.
And it's still kind of, when you think of just how talented of an actor he really, really is when he's really going for it. It kind of it's kind of surprising to remember he only has 2 nominations. So, I mean, if I had my way, he would have gotten in for 6 Degrees of Separation back in 1930. But I'm sure there's a few other things you could throw out there too. He is very, very. Obviously, it's not that kind of movie whatsoever, but you can't argue that he's fucking great in I Am Legend.
He is,
and just a number of other things. All the emotional stuff in Fresh Prince everybody likes to talk about. He's a really, really great actor when he's on, and this could really be a role for him to kind of throw back at us, so we'll see what happens.
I hope so. I really do. I mean, I don't have him in my lineup because I put someone else new in the lineup, but it would be cool. I'd like to see Will Smith get in. Now, on my lineup, on the other hand, it's weird I did this because I took one person in Bridge of Spies and put them in. I pulled another one out.
Yeah, I really considered him too.
So I had to bump Tom Hanks out this time, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was a smart move or not, but I guess it's one of those that remains to be seen.
It's just one of those cases where I think he'd be a shoo-in in any other year, but it's too packed.
I have welcomed Matt Damon into my Best Actor lineup. I can't say it's ballsy, but I mean, I've seen his name pop up every once in a while. And I really took to The Martian, and I think the Academy will take to The Martian, so I have confidence, not extreme confidence, but I have confidence in actually putting him in this lineup. Which, of course, still remains with Redmayne and Depp and DiCaprio and Fassbender. I'm not taking Depp out until he's complete. I think that he belongs in this lineup, and I think he may get in by the skin of his teeth. I really do. Now, I'd love to take Redmayne out, but betting against Redmayne burned us hardcore last year. We're not making that same mistake this year.
I forgot to mention something about Kane. Notice I still have him in.
I noticed.
And I'm still confident in him despite the fact that I don't know how they're going to take the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing where that's kind of risky is the fact that I didn't quite touch on... I touched on this a little bit in the review, but it is such an ensemble piece, and he's gone for stretches that he's almost supporting.
Ooh.
Like, you could probably legitimately say he's supporting. So I don't know if that would hurt his chances. But I still think that he's got enough big scenes, and he's a well-respected enough name, and he's gotten enough nominations to back him up already, that he's still kind of a confident choice for me. So
I say SAG will probably be what gets him in. Kind of like what you were doing with Duvall last year.
Yeah, I can kind of see Fauna taking that route too, even if she doesn't get anywhere else.
I can see that. Best director.
All right. Sticking to my word I said in the last video, you'll see. I have Danny Boyle for Steve Jobs, Todd Haynes for Carol, Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu for The Revenant, Tom McCarthy for Spotlight, and Steven Spielberg for Bridge of Spies. Yes, I said if I gave up on Sorrentino and I didn't feel confident enough in it that I'd take him out and put McCarthy in, so that's what I did.
Smart move.
And who else did I have in here besides... Because I put Spielberg back in. I had him before, and then I dropped him, but now he's back. After seeing the movie. It's just a movie that just really... It's just one of those... Obviously, you can't, you try your best to not bring your personal feelings into it. Like I was saying, after seeing Youth and thinking it's absolutely fantastic, I couldn't tell anymore whether I thought they might go for it even though it's out of character, or if I just really want it now.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just one of those things. This is kind of somewhat what I did with Bennett Miller last year, where it seemed unlikely that he was going to get in, and a lot of people were saying what's going to happen, then we're going to take to the movie. But after seeing the movie, I just kept telling myself there is just no way, even if, obviously it didn't even run for picture, but there was just no way the direction of that movie could have been denied. And that's kind of what I feel like watching British Spies. It's just, I think, it's only been 3 years, but I think this movie will be enough for them to be ready to put Spielberg back in again.
I agree with that.
So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
My lineup hasn't changed at all. Of course, Todd Haynes is nowhere on my radar right now, which is probably a mistake, but I'm going with Tarantino. Because I know it's dangerous for you to go with Tarantino, but it's not dangerous for me to go with Tarantino.
So Fukunaga I finally took out, obviously.
Yeah, I noticed that too. So yeah, I have the same exact lineup, except I'm running Tarantino as well. I really think it's about time he gets back in the director lineup, and I think it's going to happen this year.
So
I think The Hateful Eight is a real contender. Just by judging it, I know this is just trailers, but judging it on the trailers I've seen alone, I think The Hateful Eight is going to be a big player this award season. And we all hope that it is. Speaking of such, Best Picture.
Did you go through your whole direct lineup already?
Yeah, it's Inarritu and McCarthy, Spielberg, and Boyle. Just like it was last month.
Okay. For Best Picture, I have Beasts of No Nation, Bridge of Spies, Carol, The Danish Girl, The Hateful Eight, The Revenant, Spotlight, Star Wars, and Steve Jobs. Once again, I had to remove Youth, sadly, and I put The Hateful Eight back in. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
You'll see now that I originally had Spotlight as my movie, where it got in picture with only one other nomination.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have that movie as Beasts of No Nation.
I could see that somewhat.
Yeah, because apparently, as I was already defending last video about how people are talking about how, because it's Netflix and people are all up in arms about that. Number one, Netflix is a huge-ass company that's on top of the world right now.
Right.
Secondly, they've already said they're doing a big-ass Oscar push. So, and do I need to defend my Star Wars again, or putting of Star Wars in here again? Or
I saw the new trailer the other night, and I want to put it in there myself.
Well,
actually.
That's the thing, is should The Martian do what you think it's going to do, I imagine, then I wouldn't put Star Wars in. But
you're not going to run this same...
It's going to be one or the other.
Okay, I can see that.
And yeah, we'll we'll just have to see what happens there. I'm hoping. Look, that might just be wishful thinking too. There's one fuck I talked about as well that just keeps fucking telling me that it's just wishful thinking, but I don't know. It's gonna be a big ass movie, and I guess we'll just see what happens. I know that doesn't. You get it. I'm sure you've seen most of the other videos, so fuck it.
Most of the people that are watching these right now probably have seen our other prediction videos. I can tell with the numbers. So, I bumped The Danish Girl and Carol out of Best Picture. Yeah, interesting, I know. And I replaced them with The Martian and Joy. Which isn't as crazy as it sounds. But we're dealing with the Academy, we're not dealing with the general public here.
So, do you not have De Niro?
I do not. Nope. My Best Picture lineup is The Hateful Eight, Inside Out, Joy, The Martian, Spotlight, Room, The Revenant, Bridge of Spies, and Steve Jobs. Room is a big question mark right now. They're either going to take to it or they're not. Larson may be the only thing he gets in. That's a possibility.
I'm great. I don't know. I mean, Joan Allen's not somebody that's being hugely talked about,
right.
But I just feel strangely confident in her for some reason.
Yeah, but we're talking about Walters and Ronan for Brooklyn, and with Hornby getting in, it's kind of like it's almost stupid not to run Brooklyn. That's the problem. That's my issue right now is Brooklyn. Brooklyn's the big question mark for me right now. Room is something that
they fucking owe Hornby after last year.
I agree.
So
I totally agree with that. And Inside Out, I know it's a personal thing, but I really think, depending on how many actual picture nominees we get this year, I really think it could slide in. Because it's going to get the animated, definitely going to win the Oscar for animated, without a doubt. I do see it getting into screenplay, and I think that's pretty solid for a screenplay. And I do think it gets into picture, so I have full hopes that's going to happen. The Martian, like I said, I really hope that that's going to be like the movie that everybody loves, that goes places. I think it's definitely could be. Spotlight is the big movie right now that I'm hearing. I'm hearing Spotlight's huge right now. And it's everywhere. That's the reason I double nommed it in supporting actor. Because I really think that Spotlight's going to be huge. And I saw the trailer, again, the new trailer the other night. And it's kind of like, yeah, the Academy will definitely go for this, for sure. But, I mean, who knows? Things change every year.
As far as this is just generally speaking now,
Right on.
about Hardy being in supporting actor. He made a comment recently about the idea of Oscar buzz, and it was a very hearty response.
Oh boy!
If you've seen him do interviews,
there's always
it's really entertaining. The dude's, I love the dude, but he's fucking weird, but in a good way.
Agreed.
But his response was, he was talking about like having a cuddle with Inarritu, which I believe means about their struggle.
Yeah, right.
And then there's the rumors about Hardy, take it as you will, whatever. But they were talking about his Oscar buzz, and he was saying like, "Oh man, don't put me anywhere near that." And he said like putting him in the Oscar theater would be like putting a wig on a poodle. I think is what he said.
That's so random.
I don't know. So it was something like that, which basically means he doesn't think he'd fit in as far as the whole Oscar thing.
I can see it. I can understand where he's coming from there, but
if he's good enough,
he's getting in.
I think he'll have the back. DiCaprio will be backing him up. So
Completely.
That'll be because any time Hardy doesn't promote something or promotes something in a weird way,
someone else will do it.
You'll have another interview with Inarritu or DiCaprio where they build up Hardy, and that'll probably pay off. So.
And what I've seen of the trailer,
because DiCaprio is the one that begged him to do the movie, so yeah. DiCaprio is gonna back him up.
True.
So.
Well, that ends another Oscar prediction video, and Ashley's predictions will either come at the end of this video, which is question mark right now, or they're going to come in a separate video, but you'll get Ashley's predictions sometime in the next day or two. It may not come on Saturday, which tomorrow when the video actually comes out for us, but we'll still get them anyway. And at the end of this month, we're going to have our November predictions, which means we're actually going to be caught up, just like I said at the beginning of the video, and we'll actually be able to be in the right month for a change when we're doing these prediction videos. Which means we are a month away from getting our next set, our first set of real, legitimate nominations.
Yeah.
Doesn't it start? Is it start in late November or early December?
We'll get the Spirit nominations first, and then
Right.
we already have like Gotham and British Independence, stuff
Mhm.
like that. But as far as stuff that we like talk about,
Right on.
the Independent Spirit Awards nominations should be in like the last week of this month.
God, it's crazy.
I know an
It's
exact
crazy.
date, but I can't without my computer in front of me. I don't know.
And then the Golden Globes are coming soon too.
Globe and SAG and Critics' Choice and stuff like that all come around. Obviously, Critics' Choice doesn't matter now. Did you see what they're doing, by the way?
No.
Critics' Choice is gonna have TV too now.
Oh.
So that's probably gonna be like another 3-hour show.
You know what that means? That means we're gonna have a bunch of predictions that we have no idea what is going on.
And obviously, Critics' Choice doesn't matter at all. But if it's televised, fuck it, it's award season. We'll do it anyway.
Unless it's the People's Choice Awards, which you still refuse to do to this day.
Yeah.
Because I'm the only one that will do the People's Choice Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm bored. So that being said, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. If you have ideas what you think is going to be nominated for the Academy Award this year, then leave them in the description bar below and leave a comment. Tell them what you think is going to run, what you think isn't going to run. So that's what we've got for this video. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you everyone for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
So, due to the circumstances beyond my control and beyond AJ and Owen's control, I wasn't able to join them this time for the month's Oscar picks and whatever. So this is coming instead. It's an addendum. It's sort of like the appendices to Lord of the Rings, as in you don't have to watch. Well, I'd like it if you did, but whatever. So, time for me to go through the 8 categories that we're covering here on these videos, at least for now. I don't know when we're going to... I'm guessing next month, considering we're getting to Golden Globe nominations, we might start talking about the other categories, which I'm very excited to talk about. Mainly because I've seen quite a lot of documentaries that have got a chance. I haven't seen that many foreign language films, but either way, yeah, animated ones, song. I think I've got one song that's probably going to win. Pretty much call that. Visual effects, original score. I've got one in which, if that film and that artist or composer is not in contention, there's something wrong with the Academy. But then again, we know that already. So, the big 8. So starting off with your adapted screenplay. I can't remember all this track is because I've literally got like 7 or 8 highlighted. So it's just out of them. And my 5 for this month, moving back in, is Brooklyn. I think. Steve Jobs, Revenant, Danish Girl, and my addendum now into adapted screenplay, mainly because I think I've been overtaken by the hype ahead of this film at least coming out in the UK next weekend. The Lady in the Van, which it's an Alan Bennett thing. Normally the award things like to give credit to, at least in the British terms, to award-winning playwrights, and I think the screenplay adapted, admittedly because it's an actual theatre production, originally back in the late 80s, early 90s, there isn't so much that you can, because it's already been presented as if it's for a stage, so it needs adaptations here and there in order to suit it for a film audience. Because obviously you haven't really got a stage to set on, you've got a whole thing to work on, and it's in there. All these will probably change, no doubt. For my original screenplay, I've got Hateful Eight, Bridge of Spies, Ex Machina, Suffragette, and Sicario. After seeing Sicario finally, and Suffragette, they are 2 very strong stories, I would say. Strong enough that they'll probably get in contention. I mean, there's other ones that I've still got to see, or aren't even being released here until next year, so brilliant. I have to wait. I just seen today that I have to wait for Hateful Eight until January the 8th, which I guess is a bit ironic. 8th of the 1, 2016. Whatever. But yeah, I have to wait till the 8th. Whereas, I think it's like Select Cinemas Christmas Day, but I think it's getting a wide release at some point, I believe, by the end of the year for America. So, you lucky people. For supporting actress, I am going with... I don't think this... Oh no, I think there might be some changes here. Meryl Streep, Suffragette. Rooney Mara for Carol. Elizabeth Olsen for I Saw the Light. Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs. And Julie Walters for Brooklyn. Ellen Page drops out, I think, just because of the concerns that I have seen and heard about obviously the roles that Mara and Page are relatively similar in terms of lesbian lover that isn't the lead actress. If I can be as cynical as that, that's probably what it is. I'm just sticking with Meryl Streep, though you can clearly tell she doesn't think that she's got much of a chance if she's championing other films to try and get... She wants Suffragette to get recognition more than she wants recognition for her role in it. She wants He Named Me Malala to be in contention for Best Documentary, as well as, I think, the India's Daughter one about the forced rape of a woman in India. So this is looking more and more like, as much as I didn't think I'd say this, Meryl Streep might not even be on this Oscars list. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It depends your view on Meryl. For Best Supporting Actor, I'm going with Jeff Daniels for Steve Jobs, Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies, Tom Hardy for The Revenant, Oscar Isaac for Ex Machina, and again, sort of swayed by what I've seen, Benicio del Toro. It's hard to say whether del Toro is going to be actor or supporting. To be honest, with the way that the actor is looking, if it was put into supporting, it would stand more of a chance, I think, than the field of actors that we've got for the lead. So, and technically, because of the role that he does play, even though technically he is the title character, but he isn't in it for a huge amount, so I think you probably could justify a supporting actor nomination slot. You know, that role surprised me enough. That you know how powerful it was. It's like, you know, it's Del Toro back to form. Let us always remember him in License to Kill. Best Actress. I've got Cate Blanchett for Carol, Carey Mulligan for Suffragette, Charlotte Rampling for 45 Years, Alicia Vikander for Danish Girl, and I'm going to stick with Maggie Smith for Lady in the Van. I'm sort of angling possibly towards Jennifer Lawrence for Joy. She's in contention. To some extent, Emily Blunt is possibly for Sicario. Cerise Ronan, I've heard a lot of things about for Brooklyn, which I'm hopefully seeing this week. But yeah, sticking with the same five. Charlotte Rampling is now considering it's America. I think she's probably going to have less chance. Maggie Smith will, because of Downton Abbey. And so, if you haven't seen this series of Downton Abbey, there is one scene which is brilliant. I don't know whether Owen or AJ have seen this and whether they're even interested in Downton Abbey. There's a bit in which the bloody, Hugh Bonneville of Paddington fame has basically got a burst ulcer in his stomach. And he's feeling ill at the dinner table, and he's like, going to get up. It's like, I'm feeling unwell. And literally, as if it's a chest burster from blooming Alien, like blood spurts everywhere, goes over all the bloody guests. It's as if it's a Monty Python thing. And I know people criticise it. I love it because it's like, clearly the writers have gone, this is the last series, let's do some crazy ass stuff. And that's what happened. It's like, it was, when it happened, everyone was supposed to be shocked. I was laughing my ass off. I was like, this is really, this is better than Paranormal Activity Ghost Dimension in terms of horror. And, wow, I don't know. Either way. So yeah, go watch that episode or that clip of Downton, because it's funny. Best actor. Sorry. Left field. We got Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, Johnny Depp for Black Mass, Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant, Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl, and considering it got the big thing at the Hollywood, one of those Hollywood awards that happened last weekend, and because I think that film is now getting a bit more momentum, I'm going to go for Will Smith for Concussion. I think, it does help if you play a real person. And if we look through those 5, 4 of them are real people. If you haven't seen it yet, go to YouTube and search for Film Theory. Matt Pat, who does game theory as well, so it's video games, he's basically doing a film and TV thing. And he's actually done sort of the analysis for basically what it takes to win Best Picture and Best Director, but notably Best Actor because of the Leonardo DiCaprio sort of snub that's happened, which hopefully could be corrected this year with The Revenant. But if you look at the rules, it's like 4/5 of all the people in the last 20 years in both actor and actress were playing characters that existed in real life, rather than fake, well, not fake characters, but made up characters. Like your Meryl Streep for Margaret Thatcher, or look at this year. You've got Eddie Redmayne for Danish Girl, Johnny Depp for Black Mass, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, Ben Foster for The Program, Dane DeHaan for Life, Bryan Cranston for Trumbo, Tom Hanks for Bridge of Spies, Tom Hiddleston for I Saw the Light, Tom Hardy for Legend. Just going through some of the, even though it isn't, even though I need to change this out of the list, but even the one that's now dragged into next year, Oliver Stone's Snowden film, that was getting buzz even before we didn't know whether it was coming out this year. Again, it's about a real person, and portraying a real person is much easier than portraying a fake person, because you don't have anything to match up to, in essence. An imaginary character, you can still convey the stuff, but with a real person, it's like you've got archive to match up that actor to that person to, so then it's extra sort of scrutiny. So that's why I honestly think why the actors playing people that actually existed do strong. Anyway, for Best Director, I've got Alejandro González Iñárritu for Revenant, Tarantino for The Hateful Eight, Danny Boyle for Steve Jobs, Steven Spielberg for Bridge of Spies, and I'm going with Tom Hooper for The Danish Girl at the minute, but again, there's quite a few other contenders. I'm trying to think. I'm seeing Brooklyn this month, I know that, and Lady in the Van, Hunger Games, I'm pretty sure. I doubt Krampus is going to be, but there's no even guarantee I'm going to see that. Lobster, I might be seeing. I still need to know what my local cinemas are doing with that, but yeah, there's still a few that I need to see that are probably going to be in contention outside of this month as well. I am tempted to put Denis Villeneuve for Sicario, possibly, but that would be very much an outsider, even though I really like that film. As much as I like it, there's other films that are probably going to get that are going to blow, not blow out, but like drown out its clamours of trying to get attention. Speaking of which, Best Picture. So we've got Steve Jobs on my list, Revenant, Danish Girl, Bridge of Spies, Carol, Inside Out, because I think it's definite. I think we've got that set for probably nomination there. I would hope. I think it deserves to be nominated. Whether it deserves to win, I'm not sure, but I think it deserves to be in there and shake things up a bit, hopefully. I'm going to put The Hateful Eight in as well still. I'm going to put Black Mass in, but I don't know whether that's one that's possibly on the cusp of not making it in, admittedly. And I'm trying to think if it's... I think that's 8 from me. In terms of the 9th one... Yeah, for the 9th one, I'll actually put in Sicario. Let's stir it up. I'm going to go with 9 rather than 10 or whatever. Sicario was a very good film. I didn't realise it was that short. But yeah, as I say, I know for at least this week, Brooklyn's got a chance. I'm going to get a chance to see. Lady in the Van is the following week. Then, have I got my piece of paper that tells me what is actually coming out this month? I have not. That's at my local indie cinema, but I don't even know what's on at the mainstream cinemas. Now, over here, we're getting a wide release for Burnt, which, as you heard from AJ's review, that film was barely in any screens in America. Yet over here, it's practically every single cinema that I could go to in my local area has it on. And all the reviews say it's absolutely rubbish. So, yeah, it looks as if the only chance Bradley Cooper has of making the Oscars this year is, one, either taking in another selfie, or via the supporting actor category for Joy, because it's David O. Russell, and it's not American Hustle. Can we have more directors, please, that have titles that have name, that the director's name rhymes with the title? Because none of these titles name with it. David. That's why I liked David O. Russell for American Hustle. It sounds like something you would actually get in some sort of weird limerick or whatever. I don't know. But either way, those are my picks. I'll be back, hopefully, on Monday for some gaming talk. And yeah, we're going to talk, I think, I'm pretty sure of this at the minute, unless something crazy happens, which would be annoying because, of course, next week is Fallout 4 launch. So, but yeah, I think the thing that needs to be addressed is how come a Matt Shapes game is worth more than a Star Wars franchise. Those of you that know what I'm talking about will no doubt say, because it's Call of Duty, son.